Important news! You don't get to hear it. The hell are my intros becoming? Intro lore. Hello everyone. Welcome back to Power Builds. This is going to be a different type of video today in Power Builds, because we're going to be talking about something that I don't like usually talking about, and that's magic items. Oh boy, magic items. This video is going to be all over the place. I don't even really know what my main point of this video is. I think my point is going to be adaptation. Magic items are the process of mid-campaign adaptation. There are many adaptations that you need to make throughout a campaign in order to make your build better work within the restrictions of a party, but adaptation with magic items is another key facet of playing D&D. So I'm going to show you a build that I power built a while ago, the Forever DM build, which you can check out here, after a few level ups and a few gifts and a few magic items from my DM. Just to show you what really cool things you can start doing if you build properly in the first few steps, and just how potent a well-made power build can become with the help of a few little magic items. So let's get into it. So this is Ziller Monkeypaw O'Crack. He is a Hexblade, Bladesinger, Battle Master Fighter, triple multi-class. His main focus is DPR. He is really cool. I like him a lot. He's really good. This is by far my favorite power build I've ever made. So let's get into why it's my favorite. Now, the main thing that's really good about it, the main thing that this build does is it applies consistent all-day damage. The entire point of this build, if you're too lazy to go check out the video, was I wanted to be able to do lots of damage consistently throughout the adventuring day. It means either not expending resources in order to do my damage, or being able to get those resources back on short rests. So that I did. I made a build that gets all of its resources back, that gets most of its important resources back on short rest, aka Action Surge, Warlock Spell Slots, and Hexblade's Curse. Those are the things that I usually am going to be expending in combat. Now, Blade Song lasts for the entire combat, so I don't even really need to worry about that running out. So let's get into more of why this build is really good. So not only do you get everything back on short rests, it does a crap load of damage. Eldritch Blast is a really good spell. The Bladesinger extra attack feature allows you to make a weapon attack and cast a cantrip as part of the same action, therefore allowing you to strike with your sword and cast Eldritch Blast all within the same action. This is obviously insanely powerful, but it gets better. Our armor class is extremely high at 19, and this can be further buffed through the use of Battle Master techniques. We have the Battle Master. Where's our fighter levels? We have the Battle Master techniques. Bait and switch. We can swap locations with a creature within 5 feet of us. Within 5 feet of us, as long as they are willing. This allows us to add a D8 to our armor class. Effectively, we can average that out to about a 4.5. Our armor class on average is going to be about 23.5, but we can round that up, due to it being a dice, to 24. On top of that, with spells, we have the spell Shield, and with Shield, we can cast that and obviously bring our 24 armor class to a 29, meaning our AC is incredibly high. So hitting us is not a great option. This keeps our relatively low health pool relatively well protected. So we have high AC, high damage per round. What else does this build have? Well, we also do have some really good spells, because we are mostly a wizard. We also have Banishment if you want to get rid of something from the field, Fireball, Catnap, Bestow Curse, Hold Person. We've got the whole 9 yards. Everything that we could possibly want, we have. And now here's where magic items come in. Before we had magic items, there were a few weaknesses to this build. Our strength saving throws were much lower than they currently are, as was our health pool and our constitution saving throws, meaning that casting massive effects or summons wasn't really viable for this build because our concentration would usually be targeted and broken. However, that's not the case anymore. You see, with the help of the three very important magic items, this build has been transformed from a DPS only build to now a full-on frontline menace. And that is through a few items. The Amulet of Health, the Gauntlets of Overpower, and the Mysterium apparatus. Show you what happens when we get rid of the amulet, the gauntlets and the Mysterium apparatus. Our Constitution score drops to 1, dropping our health from 125 to 83, and our strength is now -1, meaning our strength saves are only +4. Naturally, this is not good. But with these magic items, all of a sudden, we get a massive buff to our concentration saves, a massive buff to our strength saves, and our health goes up over 43 points. It's crazy. We just went from being a relatively squishy build to a rather tanky one. Coupling that with the fact that we have absorb elements at the ready, we can half the damage of massive breath weapons or fireballs that we might be susceptible to due to our low dex stat. And how is this all possible? This was all possible due to a simple thing that my DM gave me, a +1 in intelligence. What does this do to this build? Well, first of all, that initially puts my intelligence from a 16 to a 17. This means that instead of getting a full ASI in order to bump up my intelligence to the preferable stat of 18, I can take a half feat. Now, what half feat did I end up taking? I ended up taking Skill Expert and choosing Arcana to make both my new proficiency and new expertise, giving me +14 in Arcana. Now, what does this do? Well, this does a few things. First of all, I was initially relying on the Headband of Intellect in order to buff my intelligence, but now I can give up that uncommon slot for a different item, the Mysterium Apparatus. The Mysterium Apparatus is insane. What it does is it gives you access to all of the spells on your class's spell list, provided that you have the slot to cast it and can pass an Arcana check. DC 10 plus double the spell's level. So say for instance you're casting a spell, a second level spell, the DC would be 14. Our Arcana is +14. That means that we can, without fail, cast every single cantrip on the wizard spell list, every single warlock cantrip, every single first level and second level spell on both spell lists without fail. Guaranteed. As long as we have the slots, we can cast those spells. But furthermore, the highest level spell slot that our character has access to is 4th level, meaning the highest level DC we have to pass is 18. 18? With a +14, that means that we have an 80% chance to succeed. I've gambled a lot more on a lot worse chances. On top of that, the Mysterium Apparatus's wording is very specific, in that it does not state you have to be able to cast those spells naturally. It just states you need to have the slots and it needs to be on your class list. This means that we have 2 4th level slots which we could use on wizard spells, or warlock spells. The Mysterium Apparatus enables this because the Mysterium Apparatus is broken. So now that we have every spell that we could possibly ever want, I realized something. My stats were low. Now, I was given access at the time. I had an amulet which increased my health to my constitution to a 14, and I had a Serpent's Fang weapon. And I realized something. These items aren't doing anything for my build. This is a part of adaptation. You've got to note parts of your build with magic items that aren't working. Those things can be swapped. Now, some campaigns are naturally going to have moments where you just get stuck with an item that you don't really need. But in the campaign that I'm in, we can swap out items of equal rarity. I saw that I had a rare item that I didn't really like. It only gave me an extra D10 poison damage, and if you don't know what poison damage is, it's ass. And then I realized that the gauntlets of that my strength score was garbage, meaning I was very susceptible to things that could restrain my movement. So why don't we just fix that? All of a sudden, boom. My strength is now a +4. I went from an 8 to a 19. I gained 11 stat points with 1 magic item. And then I noticed something else. My con score is kind of bad too, meaning my health is bad, and I'm the frontliner. Boom. I gained 42 hit points in 1 level up, all because I was allowed to take a half feat to free up my attunement slots and spell lists. This is adaptation. I was given a gift and I capitalized on it as best as I could. So what does this do to the overall build? Well, first of all, this means that not only is the build much more powerful, my stats are way higher. I am much more useful out of combat too. And also, I have every single wizard cantrip for free at any time because the DC Arcana check for a wizard cantrip is 10 from the Mysterium Apparatus, meaning I can cast whichever one I want at any time. I don't need to have it prepared or learned. I can just do it. Meaning that this character now has way more utility outside of combat on top of that. And in combat, that means I can have every single spell I possibly want. And it means I can also focus more on concentration spells. My con save is +13. This means that unless you deal 28 or more damage, I cannot fail my con save. On average, this is a 23. This means that you have to be able to deal 46 damage on average in order to break my concentration. That's crazy. That means if I cast a concentration spell, that's up until the end of the battle. This goes beyond just numbers. This is battlefield control beyond control. I can freely cast summon spells and not have to worry about getting hit anymore because what are they? They can't break my concentration. And oh, this is all accomplished by level 14. I'm not even at level 20 yet. Level 14. Level CR 14 threats cannot break this character's concentration yet, more often than not. This character is too strong. This little boy right here. Look at him, so smug. Look at this smarmy motherfucker. Look at him. Look how smug he looks. Look how proud he is. This is what I imagine I look like. Look at how handsome Hero Forge makes him. Look at that. So this character has a high armor class, lots of HP, good strength saves, good concentration, got good constitution saving throws, access to all spells, insane damage output. Oh, by the way, in case you're wondering what the damage output is for max burst damage, average damage, burst damage is 141 damage, which is like, okay, that's not your craziest build. This is at level 14. This build comes online by level 11, and you can do more damage than a 20th level fighter? Are you kidding me? That's insane. And on top of that, every subsequent turn after that is going to be, plus it's going to be 75 damage every subsequent turn after that. And that's before other spells can come into play. This build is bullshit. This build does so much damage. This is a level 14. It does a crap load of damage, and it's got incredible out of combat utility. But what are its weaknesses, I hear you saying? Well, it does have a few weaknesses. It's not, wait, let's just roll the dice real quick. Oh, we love to see it. We love seeing dice. I see a lot of you going, well, you just made a build with no weaknesses. I didn't. There is one glaring weakness, and that is its wisdom saving throws. I got -1. I just rolled a 4, -1, that's a 3. And I have nothing I can do about that. That is this build's one solitary weakness, wisdom saving throws. There's nothing I can do about them. I would like to be able to stop them, but I actually can't. There's nothing I can do to fix this. Well, I can. It's just it would completely decentralize the build, and it would make it not function. And this was all accomplishable because of a simple adaptation I made. My DM gave me a +1. Gave me a 1 in intelligence, which seems so innocuous. But all of that enabled me to now have access to every spell list on the wizard spell list, warlock spell list up to 4th level. I have now incredible concentration saving throws, meaning my battlefield effects are much more potent. My strength saving throws, meaning I can't be grappled or knocked down. I've got much better intelligence and charisma saving throws on top of that, and I still do a shitload of damage. All of that from that. If you're counting, by the way, that was in 1 level up. In 1 level, I gained 19 stat points due to magic items. This is why I don't allow magic items in my builds, because you can do ridiculous shit like that. But this is only level 14. Let me show you quickly what happens when you get to level 20. Here it is. I took the tough feat and the resilient feat to further shore up this character's weaknesses. I now have only 1 weakness left. My dex saves, which were previously kind of weak, are now completely solved. I only have wisdom saving throws as a weakness. You might be saying, well, that initiative score is looking kind of low. Nope, Battlemaster techniques allow me to add a d8, effectively making that on average a +8 in initiative. My armor class gets bumped up by 1 by an increase in my dexterity from the resilience stat, and my average damage can now be up to 320 from a burst, through the use of Spirit Shroud, a 5th level Bestow Curse, which does not require concentration, and Hexblade's Curse. This is what magic items enable. A build with numerous glass cannon-like weaknesses, low HP, low saving throws, poor battlefield control, has been transformed into a battlefield control monster with a ton of HP that can still that manages to do even more damage and can still fuck you over in utility and outside. This is what magic items enable. Now, obviously, I'm saying all of this, and some of you are obviously going to say, this is why D&D's no longer fun. Shut up. This game is fun as hell. My Dungeon Master is amazing. Catch him every single Tuesday and Thursday at twitch.tv/longshotrpg to see just how much of a great DM he is. He's managed to handle this. It's possible. It's very possible. I help him. I tell him what my build can do. I make these videos showing what I can do, and I send them to him and be like, hey, this is what I can do now, by the way. But yes, it's possible. He knows its weakness is wisdom saves. But because he's a good DM, he doesn't solely target that. He targets my strengths as well to make my character feel like the character I wanted to make. He allows me to do the shitloads of damage that I made this character do. He allows me to tank all those hits and block them with shield and be cocky. And then sometimes he's gonna hit me with a crit. No matter how high your AC is, a critical hit's a crit. It's gonna get through your AC and it's gonna deal a fuckload of damage unless you can absorb it somehow or stop it or redirect it. But that's this build. That's magic items. This is an adaptation. A simple thing like getting a +1 in intelligence allows your build to go from a glass cannon to much, much more than that. And if you're wondering, how do you do all that damage with the 320 with this build? Very simply. So here's how we do all that damage. We get to make 2 weapon attacks. That is 2d8 because we're going to be action surging. We now cast 4 beams per cast of Eldritch Blast. So that means we're going to be doing 8 blasts total during this. We are going to be casting Spirit Shroud at the 6th level. That is going to be an extra 2d8 per hit, so that is going to be 2 times 10, that is 20 extra d8s. On top of that, we're going to be hitting them with a 5th level Bestow Curse. Bestow Curse, when cast at above 5th level, no longer requires concentration, so if they fail to save, they'll be taking some extra damage. If they don't, who gives a shit? So that's going to be an extra 10 d8s, so we're now at 32 d8s, and then on top of that, we're going to throw on top of that, should all things go according to plan, obviously, a third level pact slot with Eldritch Smite, so that's going to be an extra 4d8. That is 312 average damage. Roll the dice. It's taking a while. 226 from the dice roller. If you're wondering how much the modifier is alone, that is 106 extra damage. So 226 plus 106, that is 332 damage we just dealt. So this build maintains its ability to deal a crap load of damage, but on top of that, it also grants it the ability to have better defense, a much higher health pool. 189 is a really good HP pool for being a wizard. What the hell? Being a goddamn wizard and being able to have 189 hit points? Muscle wizard. We have a 19 in strength. 19 in strength. That's 16. This build's insane. All with the addition of some magic items. And that was, of course, the damage only. I only showed there. I only showed the damage that you could do. You can, on top of this, still cast control spells like Slow, which is busted good. Or Banishment, or Hold Person / Hold Monster. Because this character's saving throws are so good, because this character's got high stats for its save DCs and good concentration, these are options that you can rely upon. And that is at the pivotal cornerstone of adaptation in D&D. It's not about building around magic items. It's about allowing magic items to bring out options you never thought possible. Use them as the seasoning on the dish that is your power build. Don't make it the dish. Like, I love paprika. But don't make paprika the only thing that you can eat. If that's the only thing you can use, you should probably reconsider how your build's gonna function. Use your magic items to subsidize your build. And obviously there's exceptions to every rule, okay? There's always gonna be an exception to this general rule of thumb I've given you. But this is at the cornerstone of making a power build. This is why I don't allow magic items in power builds, because you can easily make magic items the only thing your build can do. But if you can acknowledge that magic items are not the only thing your build can do, when you finally get them, it's like Rock Lee taking off the weights. Your build can start flying. This build went from a glass cannon with a great number of weaknesses to a menace with only one. There's only one way to stop this guy, and that's a wisdom saving throw. And while those are common, it's certainly much more limiting than being able to do everything else on top of that. But that is all for today. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope this video makes sense. It was very rambly from the get-go. Hopefully I managed to pull it into something cohesive at the end of the day. But thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please remember to like and subscribe. Ring the bell, tell all your friends. My patrons got to see this video 24 hours early, and on top of that, they get access to both of these D&D Beyond links so that they can more easily make these characters in their home games. On top of that, if they want, they'll get the Hero Forge link so they can look at this beautiful little minifigure that I made on Hero Forge for all the world to see. Isn't he so handsome? Don't you want him in your game? Don't you want him to absolutely ruin your campaign? But yes, that is all. Thank you all so much for watching. Get the fuck out of my house.